Hello girls and boys, how's it going? So, remote jobs is one of the most popular sections in this YouTube channel. And every week I get a bunch of comments around remote jobs, a bunch of questions. So I thought why not collate everything together in this video, watch it to the end, and I'm sure you will get all your questions on remote jobs answered in one shot. Let's get started. Question 1. Sir, I've been working from home for the last 3 years. I saw your video and realized this is not really a remote job. Can you please explain to me clearly the difference between work from home and a remote job? I'm confused. Now, I am not surprised. This is a misconception that a lot of people have. I'll tell you two basic differences between a remote job and a work from home. A work from home job is a policy decision by a company. By policy, they have allowed you to work from home. The policy can change at any given time. They might call you 1 or 2 days in a week to office, hybrid, or they might decide to call you all 5 weeks. And it has happened with a lot of organizations. Post-pandemic, slowly, you're at least in hybrid, if not all 5 days in office. Work from home is a policy decision. Remote job is a strategy where they say, hey, we can't get this talent in our country. Let's go and hire in another country. So strategy, policy decision. Second very big difference. In a work from home, you are paid in INR or in the currency that you are located in. In a remote job, because you're working in a company in the UK, in the Europe, in US, you will be paid in GBP, in Euro or in USD because that's the parent company which is paying you. So two big differences between a remote job and a work from home job. Okay, next question. Sir, I've applied to 100 plus remote job websites, things like We Work Remotely, remote.co and Angel List, so on and so forth. I'm not getting a single response. What am I doing wrong? Now, I'll repeat my world famous statement. You do not find a remote job finds you. Now, here's what I mean by that. If you look closely on each of these websites, on any job requirement, you will typically find a statement towards the end which says in-country remote. What does that mean? That means if the job is from UK, it's the location specified as London remote, which means this is remote in London. You already have to be in UK to apply for this job. Or at least you need to have a work permit for UK to be able to apply. It is very clear that they will not file for your work permit or support you in that. That is why the moment you give an Indian passport and an Indian address, they don't even bother replying back. That's the big difference. Nothing wrong with you, my friend. You're in the wrong country when you're applying for that remote job. That's all it is. Okay, this is a very good question. It says, everybody says learn in public, but I have been posting on LinkedIn for 2.5 months. Nothing. Is learn in public dead? So my friend, firstly, 2.5 months. That and anything to prove anything at all. Secondly, learn in public is not dead, but most probably what you're writing on LinkedIn is dead. For example, day 24 of learning Kubernetes doesn't help anybody. I have started learning Kubernetes and this is what I learned today. Nobody gives a shit. Or just finished building my Argo CD pipeline. Congratulations, won't get you anything. These types of posts are not there for anybody. They don't help anybody. The only posts that help anybody is if you put in a controversial opinion out there or if you genuinely share a technical insight. I was trying to do this in GitHub Action. The agents were timing out. This is how I debugged it. This was the solution. That is something of value to somebody. So change the way you're posting and do it consistently week on week for at least 6 months and I'm sure you will start getting traction. Okay, this is a really good question. He says, sir, you've been building your personal brand for 10 years. That's too long. I don't have 10 years. What's the shortcut? I hear you, my friend. But here's the thing. I wasn't building my personal brand for 10 years. I was working for 10 years. I was doing the best job that I could for 10 years. And this brand building and all that, I didn't even know I was building a brand. This just happened by the way. Yes, there was a dedicated effort around it. Yes, I did extra work around it. But honest to goodness, 10 years back, if you have asked me what the heck am I doing, my response would have been, hey, I have something of value to share. I'm writing about it. I'm going and talking to other people about it. I'm looking for more opportunities to grow. I did not even know this was brand building. So long answer short, I wasn't doing anything of it to build a brand, to be able to get a remote job. This all isn't so beautifully planned out, right? It just fell in place over a period of time. Now, if you want to do it today, this is much more defined. I have defined it in several of my videos. People have done it in the past, and now we know that this is brand building. There is a method to the madness. There are templates to do this. If you want everything dedicated, let's say in one ebook, comment personal branding ebook, and I'll start working on that. If that is of value to a lot of people. Let's say if I get 50 comments on personal brand ebook, I'll start working towards it. Okay, now this is a very, very spicy question. It says, sir, what is the actual salary range for remote DevOps or SRE or platform engineers in India in 2026 and beyond? Is 200K a realistic number, or is it just a clickbait that I've seen in other videos? Great question. So let's put things in a bit of perspective, and I'll give you some numbers based on my understanding of what is going on in the industry out there. Now, if you are in the 3, 4, 5, 6 year experience range, you would expect something like maybe around 60 to 70, 75K USD. That's a decent start. If you are in the mid experience around the 6, 7 to about 10, 12, I would give it about, let's say about 85 to 100, 110K USD. And if you are senior around 12 to 15, 16 years, anywhere between 120 to 150K, right? That's the ballpark range of salaries that I've seen people getting in India in remote jobs. Now, 200K, is that possible? Yes, absolutely 100%. I know 2 people who are getting that kind of salary in India. But as you can imagine, that is the rarest of the rare, the aberration at 0.001%. These guys have super exceptional skill and they are super good at what they do. So long answer short, is it possible? Absolutely 100%. Is it possible for everybody? Absolutely no, but you have to be a rock star to get those kind of salaries. Okay, so sir, I'm a fresher with 0 experience. Is remote job even possible for me? Now, here's the standard answer that I give to everybody. If you're a fresher or 1 to 3 years experience, this is the algorithm you should follow. Number 1, get a job. Number 2, get a good job. Number 3, get your dream job. And number 4 is when you start thinking about doing a remote job. Because typically that's the sequence in which it happens. However, are there freshers who have cracked remote jobs? Yes, 100%. Do I know some of them? Yes, 100%. So if you watch last week's live, I spoke about one such person. He even comes from a civil engineer background. Nothing to do with computer science. But the guy worked his rear end off, and today, with I think about 1 year's experience prior to that, roughly 1.5 years, he's working remotely in Delhi for a company in London. So it is possible, definitely. But it takes blood, sweat, and tears to be able to get there. Okay. So you often talk about learn in public, but is that the only way for cracking a remote job? What if I just cannot learn in public? I cannot write regularly on LinkedIn. What other options do I have? It's a good question. And quite honestly, learn in public or writing on LinkedIn is one way of doing it. But there are several other ways of doing it if you're not comfortable writing text on LinkedIn. Okay, let's talk about this. So if you're good at summarizing things in 3, 4, 5 bullet points, write on X. If you're comfortable writing long paragraphs and lengthy explanations, create a blog, go to Hashnode, dev.to, something like that. If you're good in visualization, then create infographics to explain your things. If you're good in community building, then become an ambassador. All good tier 1 tools have ambassador programs now. For example, Grafana has an ambassador program, Log4j Apache, Kubernetes have ambassador program, and then the big daddy of all, AWS, has a bunch of ambassador programs with it. That's a great way to get recognized in the community. If you're comfortable on camera, create small YouTube videos. It doesn't have to be long form, it could be shorts and reels as well. The idea is you gotta put your knowledge of work out there in whatever shape and form works for you. That is the basic premise. Okay, now this is a really cool question. He says, sir, I'm from a tier 3 college. Does it matter for a remote job? Now, I'll tell you the honest thing. Beyond maybe the US, if you go into continental Europe, they don't even know what the heck is an IIT. Very few people know it. So whether you're from IIT or from a tier 3 college in Nasik, it doesn't matter to them because they anyways don't know any cities or any colleges in India. The only thing that matters to them is your skill, your technical skill and your communication skills. Those are the only two things that matters when it comes to a remote job. Sir, how much does communication matter? My technical skills are strong, but my English speaking is not so fluid. Is that a deal breaker? Good question. And I'll tell you something from my personal experience. You would assume that English is a deal breaker. But I was working for a remote bank in Georgia, in Eastern Europe. Those guys would talk in Georgian. Their native language is not English. So they would struggle in English quite a lot. So for them, English doesn't even matter. But what mattered is the clarity of thought. So if you land up in a place where English is not the first spoken language of that country, then it doesn't matter. But what definitely matters is your clarity of thought and how well you are able to articulate things. That definitely matters beyond control of language. Now, having said that, do not ignore speaking English because fortunately or unfortunately, that is the accepted language of business, at least today and for the next couple of years. So work on your English. Okay, this is another question that I get quite a lot. Is time zone a real concern for remote jobs? What if I get a job, let's say in US, will I have to work through the night in India? Fair question, but I'll give you my perspective on that. Typically, organizations which are doing remote jobs will have people from multiple countries and hence multiple time zones, not just India. So they would have evolved their culture to make sure that there is at least a 3, 4, 5 hours of overlap. So it's not that you have to work the whole night. Depending on where maximum people are located, typically organizations have 3 to 4 hours of core working hours. That's the time when there is an overlap in most of the geographic locations, and that's when we are expected to be online for these 3 or 4 hours, which is where the bulk of the meetings happen. That's one way in which organizations have solved it. Another very big way in which people do remote work is mastery in async communication. What does that mean? Not everything has to be a meeting where you come in face to face and talk about stuff. A lot of meetings can be emails and you guys know about that, right? So effective delegation, effective decision making through emails is a big part. Effective use of Slack, Teams for asynchronous communication. Whenever somebody comes online, he or she replies and that discussion continues further. Companies like GitLab have mastered these art several years back, and they even have the GitLab handbook, which is sort of a bible in asynchronous communication. There have been, I know people in these kind of organizations and they go for weeks without meetings. So that's another way of doing it. Okay, this is the last question. I think it's a good one. What is the one mistake that is killing most ingenious remote job chances? The thing that nobody talks about. Now, I'm going to say it as brutally as it comes, and some of you are not going to like this. But the one thing that Indian engineers lack is the grit to express themselves and to take decisions. Because the way software industry in India has evolved, we have traditionally not been decision makers. We have been the outsourcing arm of companies, and the decisions were taken there, not in Bangalore, not in Pune, not in Mumbai. Typically, that's how it happens. Of course, it has changed quite a lot in the recent years. The GCCs being set up, they are power centers in their own rights and things are changing. But traditionally, We have not been the people who are good at taking decisions. Forget decisions, even expressing our viewpoint confidently and saying, this is why I differ from what you're saying. Here are the two reasons for it. And that, girls and boys, is the biggest blocker for us not getting worldwide recognition. I hope this video made sense. And if it did, put a comment, remote job rocks. And if you want me to make a dedicated ebook on remote jobs, if I get 100 comments on remote job ebook, I'll start working on that as well. Arey bhaiya, like, share and subscribe. यार 95K क्रॉस हो गया है. 5000 सब्सक्राइबर और चाहिए to hit 100K, and we are planning a big huge event in Pune in the first or second week of May. So please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because you help us make 100K as a family together, and we will have the best party you've ever been to in Pune. Push yourself, get 10 other friends to subscribe. Let's hit that 100K. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.